Get it popping. All right, family, we're going to get started with tonight's training. It's really a topic that I'm excited about. Like I just mentioned, we haven't really talked about it in a minute, but I think that it's the perfect time in lieu of what happened at the AALC conference in Orlando a couple of weekends ago. And so let me share my screen, and that way you guys can kind of see, just really what I'm working with and where I'm coming from with this. And this is going to be a 2-week training series. Like I said, we'll start today and then we'll finish up next week. But the name of the training series we're going to start this evening, guys, is RVP ASAP. RVP ASAP, right? And tonight we're going to talk about building your way to RVP. Now, for some of you guys, these things that we're going to talk about, you're familiar with them. So if you're familiar with them, then hey man, that's all the more reason why I want to hear from you in thoughts, comments, discussion, questions, and different things like that. But for some of you guys, you know that are kind of fairly new to the team, and this is your first, man, this is going to be like kind of your first time seeing this stuff. And that's fine too. But I think that even for a new person, whether you've been licensed for or are new to the team for in the last 3 months, last 6 months, last 9 months, y'all get what I'm saying? You need to see this, because the earlier that you see this, the better, right? The earlier that you see this, the better, right? And so let's talk about RVP ASAP. Now, where did this come from? Well, it got inspired when we were in Orlando. So at the AALC conference, the Legacy Summit in Orlando, we were given a vision. This is Mike Evans right here. He's the AALC president-elect. He's a senior national sales director, $1 million earner, Circle of Champion. Man, he is an amazing person, stellar reputation. He's a legend. He's a Wall of Famer in the company, and he's doing a great job. Well, he asked us a question. So we have these different training sessions. We go up on Thursday, and we have these meetings before everybody else just kind of gets in. The conference, the Legacy Summit officially starts on that Friday, but council members, we get there before then, and we're actually meeting on that Thursday and stuff like that. So this is a question that Mike shared with us. He was talking about the number of RVP promotions that the company, Auntie, promoted last year and how many of them were African American. I'll spare you the details in terms of the numbers and stuff like that. But it was an area that, as a company, hey, we need to improve. But, you got the company, yeah. But at the same time, what about us? People who look like us, come from where we come from. Just the minorities that are represented in Primerica, in the company, right? And so he asked a question. He said, hey man, we need to promote more regional vice presidents. And he wanted to cast a vision for that. Are y'all still with me? Give me a thumbs up if y'all still with me.
We with you, bro. We with you.
All right, perfect. Appreciate that, Quee. And so check this out. This is a question that Mike Evans asked the council in a council meeting. He said, hey, teammates, after he gave us the statistics on RVPs that were promoted last year in the company and how many were African American and stuff like that, he said, how many RVPs can you promote out of your base shop? Listen to this question. Between now and the Primerica convention in 2027. He said, I want you, he said, I don't want you to just conjure up any kind of number and say, hey, Mike, I can do this. And he said, man, I want you to really think about it. And he had a QR code for us to scan. And you scan that QR code, and it was like a survey, man. And you put in what your number was. Each person that was in attendance at that council meeting, they did that, right? And so just to kind of give a little bit of context of what we're talking about, if you've heard Rahima do announcements and stuff like that, man, Primerica has these international conventions, right? It's every other year. Now, normally it would be this year, but the World Cup is coming, and it's in different major cities all over the United States and in North America and stuff like that. Well, Atlanta is one of the cities that's hosting the World Cup, just like Houston is, just like Philadelphia is hosting some World Cup matches. And so they're taking over the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which we normally use for our convention. Well, it actually worked out because skipping this year allows us to do the convention in 2027, which is actually Primerica's 50th year anniversary. It's going to be a huge celebration, guys. And so Mike is like, hey, man, this thing is going to culminate in 2027. That gives us about a 14-month or so, 15-month head start on that. But I want us to think about how many RVPs do you want to promote by the convention, July 7th through the 10th, 2027. You do the math. That's about 442 days from now. 442 days from now. And people responded to it. And the number that got produced from that question, teammates, was 479 new RVP promotions from the council base shops alone. Guys, that's more than 3 times the RVPs that Primerica as a company promoted in 2025. It's a lofty goal. It's a huge goal. But guess what? It's doable. It's doable. And as I was thinking about that, and Mike got to talking about it, and the vision for the conference was, man, hey, RVP and this, that, and the other. I said, you know what? Heem, I hadn't talked about RVP in a long time. I hadn't talked about it. Now, we used to talk about it a lot. Am I right? I used to talk about RVP, man, you want to be an RVP and stuff like that. Man, we used to talk about it a lot. But for some reason, we kind of gotten away from that, man. We just wanted people to be in the business and, man, hey, make some money being an independent producer. And I don't want to do you guys a disservice because you move towards and you're motivated by what gets talked about and what gets illuminated. So I'm telling you right now, guys, the RVP contract is back in style. Not like it ever went out of style, but we got to start looking at that as something that is worth achieving and it's attainable, right? And so that's what we're going to talk about over the next couple of weeks, man, is this RVP contract, right? Regional vice president and what that means. Guys, but regional vice president, this is no cap. It is the greatest contract in American business. It's the greatest contract in America. First of all, guys, the RVP contract is a 6-figure plus, can even be a 7-figure income contract. It is. And it's a contract that's so good in the largest industry on the face of the planet with Primerica, Erica, that you don't even have to have a degree in finance. You don't have to have a background in accounting. You don't have to have a background in statistics or nothing like anything that's fight a business, administration. You don't have to have an MBA, right? You don't have to have any of that. All you have to have is a desire to help people and to build something of significance. That's it. And you're not by yourself doing it. You have people, you have systems that will support you. You will get mentored to that RVP contract and you get a chance to have your shot at building something here of significance. And I'm telling you right now, guys, a lot of times those type of opportunities, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, there's not a lot of real opportunities out here. Sure, there's some money-making opportunities. And I know that part of that stuff is our competition where you can get in some little thing, and you can make some cash, you can make some money here and there. But is it a real business opportunity? There's a difference. Omar knows what I'm talking about. There's a difference between a money-making opportunity and a business opportunity. The RVP contract is a true business opportunity. It's a true business opportunity. Now, you might be listening to this saying, Nick, I don't need, man, hold on a second. I just came here to make an extra $500 a month. That's fine. That's cool. What I want to do, I just want to kind of stretch your vision. I want to put some information in front of you over the next couple of weeks that can maybe expand your imagination, introduce you to other possibilities that you may not have known were available to you, or you may have forgotten what's available to you. I just want to expose to some and reintroduce to others the power of the RVP contract. Is that okay with y'all? Does that sound okay? All right, perfect. Let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about it. Let's get into it, man. So that 479, and let me tell you something, Auntie, they just kept talking about it all week. All week, man, 479. And RVP, Regional Vice President, it wasn't a cuss word, Omar. It was the buzzword for the entire weekend, the Legacy Summit. And I said, man, you know what? There was a time where we were like, man, we got to promote RVP, new RVPs. Who wants to be an RVP? Like, we were focused on that, right? But we've kind of gotten off focus, and we're getting back. We're recalibrating, man. We're getting back in that game, right? And so check this out, teammates. Let's talk about the 3 reasons to get promoted to RVP. 3 reasons to get promoted to RVP. And I thought about this, man. Obviously, guys, I can give a laundry list of reasons why a person should get promoted to RVP. I can give a laundry list. I just wanted to boil it down to 3 for the sake of this training. But before I even share my 3, right? Before I even share my 3, I want to hear from you guys, especially from the vets, man, that have been in these trainings before and stuff like that. Regional vice president. Give me one reason, like what comes to mind. And it could be like, Auntie, talk to me.
A higher contract level.
Higher contract level. What does that mean? Higher contract level. What that mean?
More money.
More money.
More money. I'm a regional leader at 70%. RVP is 110%. A 40% variance. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Man, that's a higher contract. Not only do you make more money, to just piggyback on what Auntie's saying, Auntie, are you saying that not only can you make more money off what you personally write, but you get a bigger override?
Override.
Teamed up. Come on.
Overrides in addition to that. Yeah, so that's why I said more money.
More money. Yes. Okay, that's a great reason, guys. Can we all agree that that's a good reason to become RVP? You do the same work and you make more money. You're on 110% contract. Now, I want you to think about the contract you're on right now. If you're a rep, you're on a 25% contract. If you're a senior rep, you're on a 35% contract. If you're a district leader, Sean, I'm coming to you next. If you're a district leader, you're on a 50% contract. Division, 60% contract. Regional leader, 7%. You make 110% contract, guys. 110% contract. Come on. All right, Sean, talk to us. Give us a reason. What do you think is another reason to get promoted to RVP?
Ownership.
Ownership.
And some equity.
Ownership and some equity, right? We're going to talk about that one, man. That's a big one. That's a big one, man. Can somebody put in the chat ownership and equity? Put that in the chat. Ownership and equity, right? If your job came to you, wherever you work, and they said, Latrice, we want to give you an option to where you can have ownership and equity in the company. You'd be like, like for it? We want to give you some ownership, a possibility to have ownership in the company and some equity. We gonna give you, right? Ro, if your company came to you and said, Rochelle, you've been here, man, you've been achieving, you know what I'm saying, brother? In addition to your salary, what we paying you, we want to give you ownership and some equity. Would you be mad at that? Not at all. Erica, what about you? Company talking about ownership and equity. Erica probably be like, man, forget y'all. I'm leaving y'all. No, I'm joking. Nobody will be mad at that because if somebody is giving you ownership and equity, would it be safe to say that they really value you? You gonna give you ownership and equity, opportunity? Come on, man. Queen, talk to us, man. I see you off mute. Give it to me, bro.
What's good, everybody? How y'all doing today? It's Tuesday. Stay safe. I think probably the most important thing that we talk about when we become a regional vice president, I want that $15 worth of shares when you go RVP. You get that bread.
Yeah.
Right. So that's so not only do we get the promoted RVP gets it, and also person getting promoted get it. Right. That's where it's at. So the thing is, they love us so much they're gonna give us some money.
Facts.
Right. Right. So that too, but also too, man, just the level of leadership that you're developing, right? I think that Primerica is a development company. And so once you get to a place of regional vice president, you start to develop as a business owner, right? You see things a little bit differently. And we see things a little bit differently. You start looking at your business differently, right? Because Nick, what
Yep.
you were saying is that when you become a regional vice president, you know, um, you know, that's the sexy topic, right? Promoting people. The reason why people want to get promoted, they want to come to promote because they know that people they're gonna plant their foot in the ground and they're gonna build something for their family, right? So this is really important to become the regional vice president.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I love it. I love it, man. And so you mentioned something about the stock, and things like that. Guys, we're going to talk about all these things because what you're hearing, if this is fairly new to you and you're saying, hey, man, they saying some good stuff, what does it all mean? I'm going to do my best to unpack some of these things that you're hearing from your teammates. And we'll get into the details of a lot of this stuff. But I appreciate you, Auntie, Sean, and Quee, for sharing, you know, your reasons. Like, hey, just naming one, your reason for becoming a regional vice president. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share, the three reasons that I came up with, and they're right in step. Check this out. They're right in step with what you guys shared, and just adding a little bit more to some of them, right? But you guys are right in step, man. Great minds. We all in sync. We thinking alike, right? So check this out. And this is in no particular order, guys. I just numbered them for the sake of just organizing them. But this is in no particular order. One is not more important than the other. But I will say this. When you're a regional vice president, RVPs are the only position in Primerica, RVPs and above are the only position in Primerica where you can produce and override other RVPs. Where you can produce and override other RVPs, meaning that you can promote somebody to regional vice president and you can still override their business. Now, let me put this into context, right? So, Ro, I know you're busy, but just kind of follow me on this. Let's just say I'm going to give you guys an example, and some of you guys have heard me give this example. Let's say that you're in the real estate business. You're in the real estate business. Let's say that you're a real estate broker, right? Now, y'all, we all familiar with the real estate broker and the real estate agent model. Are y'all with me on that? Right? And so if I want to become a real estate agent, what do I got to do? I got to go get a real estate license, right? Got to go get a real estate license. And a lot of times, at least here in Houston, they got a place that's called Champion School of Real Estate. What do? You go there, you take some classes, and you prepare yourself through these classes to take the state real estate exam. Y'all with me on that? So let's just say that I go to Champion School of Real Estate. Costs money to go there. Champion School of Real Estate. I go get my real estate license. I take the test, pass the test. When I get my real estate license, I can't just go out there and just start selling houses on my own and stuff like. I gotta go get with a broker. You with me on that? And the broker is the person who is responsible for a lot of times maybe training me, especially if I'm new to the industry, giving me the infrastructure, the support, you know what I'm saying? The administrative piece to be able to execute those transactions. And a lot of brokers, they offer a lot of training and a development. It's an environment of other agents. It's knowledge sharing, mentor. Y'all with me on this? This is what goes on, right? And so let's just say as an agent, Ro, you my broker. You my broker, right? You're my broker. I just became a real estate agent. I'm under your brokerage, your leadership and everything. If I go out and in the real estate game and I go sell a house, there's a commission that's generated. Guess what? I'm going to get a piece of that percentage of that commission. And Ro, you going to get a piece of that commission, right? And hey, listen, that's an override that Ro is earning. Are y'all with me on that? He earning an override because he's the broker, right? Now, Ro, let me ask you this. Every time I sold a house, I get paid and you get paid. How many agents would you want like me?
A lot.
A lot. Look, Latrice started laughing. Latrice already was there before I even asked the question. I already know where you're going, Nick. I want a lot of agents, right? Because the more agents he got, Just follow me on this, guys. I'm going somewhere with this. The more opportunity he has to make money in an override. And guess what? He's employing one of the income rules of the wealthy. I've been having these conversations with my son, Nasiah, about how money works and money. I said, son, let me teach you about money, because I asked him, hey, man, what are some of the things you want to do? He said, Daddy, I like money. I would love to learn how money works. I said, okay, let's start having these money conversations. I said, this is a rule of the money game. This is a rule. I didn't go over no rule of 72 and everything. I told him, I said, listen, because he's already seen the rule of 72. He knows kind of how it works, stuff like that. I said, son, always remember this. Wealth flows in the direction of ideas that solve problems. If you want to be wealthy, identify a problem and solve it. Then he said, Daddy, it might be a situation. He gave me an example where it's something that can create a problem. And because it identifies a problem that's out there already, something that it ain't created, but it identifies a problem. There's something that can identify a problem. And I can have something that can solve that problem that it identifies. I'm like, man, now you thinking. Now you thinking. Now let me get back to my story. One of the income rules of the wealthy is that you want to get paid, listen to this, today, Ro, and tomorrow for some work you did yesterday. I'm going to repeat that. You want to get paid today and tomorrow for work you did yesterday. Well, Ro, if I go sell a house, you getting paid today. And if I go sell a house tomorrow, you getting paid what? Tomorrow. What was the work you did yesterday? You developed me, you trained me, you taught me the sales process, you answered all my questions, you mentored me. Are y'all with me on this? See, and because he did a good job at that, I'm confident selling houses. Now he's getting paid today and tomorrow for work he did yesterday. Here's the problem with the real estate model. Are y'all ready for it? Oh, what if I'm really good at this thing? I mean, I'm good at selling houses. I got the personality. I got the desire to be great leadership. Latrice, if that's me, sooner or later, what am I going to want to become?
Your own broker.
Your own broker.
Mhm.
Bro, you with me on that?
Yes, sir.
So check this out. What I'm going to go do? I'm going to go take my broker's exam. Because I see what Ro is doing. I said, man, I can do that. I can do that. And I go study and I take my broker's exam and I pass it. And I say, you know what? I'm going to become my own real estate company and brokerage. And what do I go do, Ro? I leave you and I go open up a real estate office right down the street from your office. And now I become your competition that you trained. Do you make any money off of me when my agency and my brokerage is killing it there? You don't make no money off me no more, do you?
No, sir.
Might get a Christmas card every now and again.
Hey, so send it to Latrice. I'll be like, brother, I done just made so much money over here. Man, I appreciate you. Ro, you taught me the game, man. And Ro, you like, dang, would it be cool if I could still be connected to Nick? And hey, wish him all the best. Now, you might still do that, but at the same time, it's bittersweet because, hey, I'm able to go to another level, win for my family. But you had a hand in my success. Are you with me? You taught me to get. What if you can still make money with me? See, that's. I don't know if they offer that opportunity in the real estate game. Maybe it's evolved and they offer it, but that opportunity is available in Primerica. See, that what I just showed you, you can produce and override other RVPs. See, Ro, if I have a desire to become an RVP, just like I had a desire to become a broker in real estate, you're not trying to talk me out of it like, whoa, slow down, little daddy, man. You don't want to become no broker, man. Hold on a second. Man, there's sharks out here in this water. It's deep water out here, man. Man, it's a lot of responsibility, a lot of headaches, man. Bro, just keep selling houses, man. You making a great income and this, that, and the other. You don't want this headache. See, Ro might be trying to talk me out of that thing. If I want to become an RVP in Primerica, he's like, really? You want to become an RVP? And I'm like, Ro, I really do. Man, what do I need to do to become an RVP? He's not telling me, whoa, slow down, little daddy. Hold on a second, man. You don't want to become no RVP. That's a lot. No, he's like, if you're serious about it, let's work on it. Because if I become an RVP, he can still override me. Y'all ain't excited. Y'all ain't excited. So I can go open up an office right down the street for him on another side of town. Do Ro got to pay my office rent? No, he don't. Do Ro got to train my agents in my office? No, he doesn't. I handle all of that. But he keeps his income connection from the volume of business that my agency does. Y'all ain't excited about that. See, you can only do that as a regional vice president. That's the only position that you can promote and override other RVPs. And RVPs are the business owners. They're the business people in the company. Omar, come in. Yes, I was waiting on you, bro. Talk to me, man. Give me
No, man.
some.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
No, I was just going to add to that one of the differences also in real estate and us is that you only get paid one way when it comes to real estate, which is by selling a property. But when you have when you compare this business to it, we have like 6 or 7 other ways that you can get paid. Like commissions and earns, obviously, bonuses and investments, and you have like 4, 5, 6 different ways to make extra income, not just the sale of a house. And also, one of the main differences that we have is, since, like you're saying, you want to promote RVPs, there is no other business that you can go to the competition across the board and say, hey, teach me your business so I can build one too. No. In here, you get trained by someone that's in the business that's going to teach you the right way, and he's not going to hold information, because your income and your profit are tied together at some point or some way, even in the future. So, yep.
Did y'all get that? That's so good. That's so good. Guys, that's just one of the reasons that we're talking about. You're able to produce and override other RVPs. Let's talk about another reason to get promoted to RVP. Y'all heard this one. You must be an RVP to qualify for ownership in Primerica. See, you can be here for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. If you're a regional leader, even if you got the income requirements, Auntie, you made the money requirements and all of it, you cannot qualify for ownership in Primerica unless you are an RVP or above. So if you want ownership, Sean mentioned this, ownership, you must be an RVP or above to qualify for ownership. So that's a big reason to get promoted to RVP. And then last but not least, RVP allows you to qualify for monthly bonuses and quarterly PRI, which is our fund symbol, Primerica's symbol on the stock exchange, PRI stock. You can qualify for bonuses in quarterly Primerica stock, which is more money, more money, more money, right? But these are just some technical things. What I really want to talk about is some of the biggest reasons. Now you're like, Nick, those are reasons pretty big, man. But let me kind of let me move in a different direction when it comes to RVP, right? And I want you to think about these reasons, right? Getting promoted to RVP allows you to have access to more freedom. More freedom. Listen to me, teammates. When I was in the base shop and I was a senior rep, district leader, I was around regional vice presidents. And maybe this is one of the drawbacks of us not being in person with our training, Benicia and Latrice. When I was around RVPs and I had to go to that job and I had to fight traffic every day to get there at a certain time. And then I had to do that, the work they gave me to process. I had to do that work and go meet the here, go do that. I had to do that. And then I got off at a certain time. I had to fight traffic going on. I hated it, man. Now, you might have a job where you love everything that you do, but that was not my story. I wanted the freedom. I wanted to be able to do my own thing, sing my own daggum song, do my own dance. I wanted to do that. I didn't want to have, as Art Williams said, a situation where somebody has their thumb on me, because at a very young age, in my first job out of college, I got laid off. I got laid off, and that woke me up, y'all. It did. I was at that company for over 2 years. I started out, it was a startup type of company, which was a telecommunications company as a subsidiary of an oil and gas company. And they recruited me off of the campus of University of Arkansas Road. They came on campus, and just by happenstance, my roommate at the time said, "Hey man, there's a company on the campus. Man, come by the business building. They're doing a presentation." And I had just got off my daggum my campus job, Benicia. I was the I got, some of y'all know I got a computer science degree. I was the network administrator of our hyper building, which was the whole workout facility on campus. I handled their computers, and I had just got where I was super tired. I say, man, my roommate, I was like, Keith, I ain't coming by there, man. I'm tired, man. He's like, dude, just come by here, man. I'm over here. And I came by there, and I didn't even sit down. I just stood in the back of the room up against the wall, and they were talking some talk. And I was like, okay, let me go down and holler at them. I had sweats on. I went down there, I talked to a couple of guys, and they liked my conversation. Long story short, I got hired on with this company. I worked there for 2.5 years. When I got hired on, there was 5 people. I'm going somewhere with this. 5 people in the department. 2.5 years later, there were over 30 people in there. I had a personal hand in training a lot of these people. When the things happened and the company was going through a restructure, they let me go. They let me go. It was 3 black people. Now, yes, Nick, you playing the race card. Look, it was what it was. I got let go. I got let go in that job. And I was out of work for 6 months. And I didn't like that feeling. But let me tell y'all something. When I was out of work for 6 months, because right after I got laid off, 9/11 happened. And everybody was on a hiring freeze. I had a lot of time to think. And I said, man, if they can do this to me at age 25, they can do it to me at 55. I want somebody to hear me. I said, man, I want to be able to not have to worry about rumors of layoffs, because it was a rumor that the layoffs were going to happen before the layoffs even happened. And people were on pins and needles. I was ignorant at the time. I was like, what does all this mean? This, that, and the other. But imagine if I was 55, I had kids in college. Are y'all with me on that? I need the medical benefits. And they talking about letting me go from a job. Man, heck no. I wanted the freedom. I didn't want to be vulnerable. I wanted it. And so you might be feeling the same way. Let me tell you something. That's a big reason to look at going RVP, because when I got my RVP contract, really when I went full time with my eye on the RVP contract, when I quit my job, I told the person that was my supervisor, I told him I was going to start my life. And I literally felt that way, that I was going to start my life. I mean, when Benicia went full time to go RVP, she cried. She was like, man, I'm like, oh. It was an emotional time, because she was stepping off that bus to get on a new bus. And this is something she had been programmed, she had studied, she had spent a lot of time in, but it was but she knew that she had to make that shift. And so let me tell you something, man, it's a big, but she knew it was the right, like, hey, look, if I'm gonna be all I can be and have the shot that I want to make the impact that I want to make, and that goes into the second one, guys. Check this out. These are big reasons. You can make a greater impact. You can make a greater impact, man. Man, me working at a job and making a little bit of money and stuff like that. I wanted to be a part of something significant, and Primerica gave me that opportunity. When I meet with people and I'm able to help them build a financial house, and I'm educating them on things, whether they do business with me or not, I'm laying it on them. I'm making an impact. Whether it's I'm planting seeds or I'm able to harvest those seeds and help them put certain things in place, it's the impact that you make, guys, here. It's second to none. The impact you make on people's lives or on your team. You know what I'm saying? To take somebody who, like, they start this journey and they don't have a lot of confidence, just like I didn't. But I can name the amount of people that have impacted my life in Primerica, that have poured into me. And you get that opportunity where you can pour into other people, clients, teammates, you know, every you can make a huge. Am I right or am I right, guys? Are y'all with me on this? You make a greater impact. You make a greater impact. And then the last biggest reason is you can have a bigger legacy. You can build a bigger legacy here, man. Man, let me tell you something. You know, a lot of times they say that um, what you do, your kids look at the most, right? And what I'm about to say is that I don't want to impress you guys. I just want to impress upon you. But one thing that Primerica has afforded us, and I praise God for this. This is not by my doing anything like that. I really give God the glory for this. It's allowed Rahima and I to be available to our kids. Be available. You got something going on at school, we're there. They got activities and things like that. We both take them to school. We both drop it. We both drop them off at school. We're not rushing anywhere. She picks them up. I'm home. Like, y'all get what I'm saying, man? That matters. That matters. And I want them to see that. I know that they ain't processing it like that now, but they see that. And I want them to be able to want to live their life like that if they one day have a family, to where you want to be available, man. And that's part of that legacy, you know, to be able to teach your kids and to show your kids, you know, hey, that this is what's possible. That legacy alone, and not just running and chasing money, you know, because you get promoted on a job, that's more responsibility. You might have to travel more, you might have to be less present. Like, y'all get what I'm saying? Like, here, it's different. It's different. So those are some of the biggest reasons to become a regional vice president. Anybody else got any other ones that they want to throw out there? Maybe give me like one or two people that might want to weigh in. If you have any comment on that, Omar, talk to me. Hold on, unmute. You got to unmute now, Omar.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you now, bro.
All right. So, what I was saying is the other thing that at least I take for granted sometimes is that we have the opportunity to increase your income, something that you're limited at your job. I mean, in order for you to get a raise at your job, you're either going to have to wait for someone to die or quit or retire, I guess, right? But that's how you get promoted, and that's pretty much how you can actually increase your income. And in here, you have the chance to do it at your own pace. You just have to work.
That's real. That's real, man. That's real. I think people know that jobs playing games right now. They playing real games right now, y'all. I'm talking about I'm like all in your face. They just playing all kind of games, you know. It doesn't matter if you're the most skilled person. It doesn't matter if you are a person that's been the most loyal. Are y'all with me? Latrice, I'm coming to you. It doesn't matter if you've been the most experienced, all of that, man. They'll mess around and have somebody. Let me tell you something. Going back to my story, I told you I was there. It was about 5 people there. By the time I left, when I got let go, it was like 35. I had to hand training. They hired a guy. Still remember this joker's name, Greg. They hired him from another company. He was slow, dog. He wasn't the sharpest knife in the drawer. They said, "Hey Nick, we want you to train him." They trained him. After I trained him after 90 days, Auntie, they made him my supervisor. I had been there. I had trained on. I didn't even know a supervisor position was available. They made him my supervisor, and then he was the one that walked me down to HR when I got laid off. And some of you guys have stories that are similar to where you bled for these jobs. You've done everything, but you've given, some of your best years at jobs. And then they put somebody in charge as your manager or something like that, a little knucklehead, and they think they can talk to you and treat you any kind of way. And then, or they might blindside you. Y'all get what I'm saying, man. They playing with us out here. I'm just saying that it doesn't have to be that way. Latrice, I'm coming to you then. Sean, I got you. Latrice, talk to us.
So I want to pick up where you and Omar were kind of dropping things off a little bit. And being in the infamous HR department, that I like to say not that HR, but I see a lot of what's going on in the background. And to Omar's point, if you're making more money, you're making 3 to 5%. Personally, I've had opportunities where I was told I was getting, oh, we're going to give you a 15, 20% bonus if you get this done. Oh, no, that's not what we meant. Right. So, and they can backtrack even if it's in writing, they can backtrack. The other piece is, when you think about the layoffs and things like that, all of that stuff happens in a silo. And then, Nick, when you talk about people coming in, at the end of the day, every business is run as a bottom line. So if I can bring in Joe from the street and I'm paying you 55 and I can pay him 45, well, I'm gonna pay him 45 so I can save that 10K. And productivity, even though we think it matters, it actually doesn't. At the end of the day, it's the bottom line. And I hate to say it, most of the time it's the manager's bonus. So as long as the bare minimum's getting done and you're networking with the right people, which is why I have such an issue with networking, is why it's hard for me in this particular business, because it's skeevy, right? It's you only get where you want to be by rubbing elbows with the right person. And we've seen that too many times. I think probably everyone on this call has been burned at least once in their standard 9 to 5 career by that type of environment. So by shifting into RVP, and I'll even take a step back, and just as a senior rep and all of that, being in a position to control what it is that you do and the income that you're bringing in, that is a different level of power. Even if it's only 500 a month, right? Even if it's only 1,500, it's getting you to that point of that financial freedom that we're preaching to others, that we're also seeking for ourselves.
That's beautiful. That's awesome. That is awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Latrice. Powerful stuff, guys. Sean, coming to you.
Everybody has said some awesome things, though. One of the main reasons why I actually got involved with Primerica was because of the opportunity for unlimited passive income. And I know we've said it, more money, but there's a means by which you can build a business, because this is ultimately a distribution center that we have to be able to build ourselves. But passive income, as in you don't have to be at the wheel the 100% of the time driving if you build a business right. And that's come across the stage many a time. People have had illnesses, or they had a situation with a family member where they had to step away. Your business is still moving, and the last thing is the extremely high level of mentorship around people who are in it for you to win it. That does not exist in the corporate environment.
So good. So good, guys. So good. Benicia, you had a comment?
Yeah, so hold on, y'all. I got a participant that just won't leave me alone, my dog, y'all. So I can't sit here and not say anything, right? Um, I met Nick, y'all, 7 years ago, Nick. I was already interested in financial services, but when Nick showed me the presentation, and basically he told me you can be the agent or you can build an agency. He told me you could have the flexibility. You won't be limited to a territory. He gave me all the reasons why I should not go to Edward Jones. By the time I met with Nick, I think I just talked to Nick 5 minutes in the parking lot, and I was sold. It didn't even take that. It was, wait a minute, you're telling me that I can create my own table. No one else. I can create my own table. So that's a huge difference when you're going to somebody else's table. But Primerica allows you to create your own table, your own platform. And when he talk about impact, Nick, my word is impact. That is my word. So it is influencing, motivating people's attitude, character, and talent, because that is what we get to do. My thing was God allowed me to touch the lives of people outside these four walls. And so that's what Primerica has allowed me to do as a regional vice president. I said, I'm going to make a change everywhere. Now, it seems like, I feel like I could do it anywhere, not just in Houston, not just in Katy, not just in my hometown, Palacios, but everywhere you go, you can make an impact by changing people. That's why I love what it is that we do. As regional vice president, you have it to where you are creating your own table. Nobody is putting a dollar sign on you. For a long time, I taught y'all, and I also Ubered part time for 2.5 years. I talked about that in the beginning. When Nick talks about those tears, those are real tears, and then also realizing sometimes we don't understand how important that flexibility is. Like when my mom was in the hospital for 30 days and my siblings had to go to back to work, my brother had to fly back to Chicago because of being a regional vice president, being able to create my own schedule. I sat beside my mother those 30 days while she was in the hospital room. She went to rehab for 2 weeks. I was there. I was able to go back and forth and still run my business and still go have my team recruit and build at the same time. But it's the flexibility, it's being able to say, hey, I'm building something. I'm leaving behind a legacy. I get to decide what this looks like. I get to change it up when I want to. It's me. It's not anyone else telling me what I have to do and also putting a dollar sign on what it is I am. When Sean talks about distribution, yeah, you get to decide. And so when he showed me that 7 years ago, Nick, 7 years ago, 5 days, 5 days would be 7 years, right? When you showed me that 7 years ago, I was sold. And sometimes I go back to that conversation because that conversation it really changed me in a lot of ways. Because also, Primerica, for those of you, the deeper you go into Primerica, the bigger your faith will become. When they're sitting in there and they're talking about God and they're praying, and not just in our hierarchy calls, but when you go to the convention, or you go to, if anybody went to the AALC, you just come back, you probably feel like you went to a revival for the weekend too. As well as you got schooled on some business, but you also feel like you were in a room where you came back, hey, had the Holy Ghost but sanctified. But I'm just saying, you guys, you are in a different environment, right? I didn't know what I was in for. And I'm speaking from experience, because I'm like, okay, I can't sit there and just not talk about it, because I have to talk about it, right? I saw that contract. I've lived it. And it does not take forever. It just takes you making a decision, right? If they say 479 RVPs, it just takes making a decision. That's all. 16 months. It just took me 16 months to get here, right? And so I'm into year 5 right now. And it's been a true blessing. But what I will tell y'all is, y'all, we get to make impact in people's lives. That's on the screen. It's right here. It's in my mission for my team, because that's exactly what we get to do, right? And we get to control what we do, how we do it, how much we make, y'all. You don't get to do that anywhere else. And so when I look at regional vice president, to me, it wasn't about the contract. It was about the flexibility, the freedom. It was about me making an impact. It was about me doing something bigger than I've ever done, and something bigger than any of my family members have ever done. Yeah, I have the MBA, but the MBA to me still limited me. It still limited me and still said, you are put in this box. I'm not in a box. I am me. And so, y'all, you just got to lean into it. If you don't understand what equity is, you get off this call, go Google how much Primerica stocks are worth right now, right? Go Google that. Y'all, and they're telling you we're giving, and it actually increased. The equity, it actually increased. So it's not even just 15 anymore. It's actually increased since then. So I'm not sure if y'all had a chance to look at that as well. But it's a lot more to that than that. You get bonuses too. It's a lot more to that, and then we talked about the mentorship. But no, you're not gonna get this. Okay. I remember going to work on during the week, and my principal have her feet up on her desk, and the sign-in sheet will be right there beside it. We have to go in her office to sign in. I don't have to worry about that, y'all. I don't even like to drive in traffic anymore, right? I don't. It's people be like, come on, me. No, I don't want to drive. I'm sorry. I don't want to drive, because I've just got so used to not having to drive, because I get to create my own schedule, the flexibility, and that's powerful to say that, right? That is powerful, y'all. And the thing about I love this business is that you're just one recruit away from an explosion. And the word says, y'all, for those who you continue to work, continue to work. Do not grow tired. Continue to work, right? And so I love this business. Just wanted to say that. All right, Nick.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate that, B Walk, for sharing that. It's always super compelling to hear, your story and other people's stories, guys, on, just how you view things, how you even been treated in some capacity, with past jobs or even your current job. Y'all get what I'm saying, man? Because look, y'all, it's no question that we all work hard. We've given so much, um, you know, of our hard-earned talent and stuff like that to entities that at the end of the day they don't really care about us like that. They don't. And so, but thank God for an opportunity to be able to do something different, you know. And so I just don't want us to take it for granted or just think of it as just a thing that we can make a little bit of extra money. No, you can build a life here, y'all. You can. This ain't just reserved for a few people. You can build a life here. I appreciate that, Sean. $279 a share. That's where Primerica's stock is at. Guys, when the stock went public, it was $15 a share. Now it's trading at $279 a share. And I'm going to tell you why that's important. Now, let's talk about promotions with structure, right? Because if you're going to become an RVP, what does it take to get there, right? So these are some of, these are our proven hierarchy promotion guidelines. And we believe in promotions with structure, right? You're a representative. If you pass your life insurance exam, you're on a 25% contract, you're considered a representative, right? No harm in that. But what we want to see you do is start to climb the ladder. Now, this is the unique business. Family, you have the power to promote yourself. I'm going to repeat that. You have the power to promote yourself. That's how this business is set up. No other company has their promotion guidelines in black and white to where they got them posted up and hey, if I do this, 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 and this, I'm going to get promoted. How do you get promoted on a job? Who knows? It's all subjective. It's all of that. Latrice, you alluded to it. Like, you got to know the right person. You got to network. Y'all know half them rules don't even apply to us. We can do all of that. And they'll still play in our face and go promote this other dude or this other woman. Y'all get what I'm saying. Right. But here, the promotion guidelines are in black and white. You can promote yourself, Jamel. Like, if you do these things, and guess what? You ain't even got to be by yourself to do it. You got somebody that'll help you do these things. And so you can promote yourself going from rep to senior rep. All you got to do is, if you're already licensed, you do one direct recruit, 1,000 in personal premium in a Primerica production month, you get your promotion. If you're unlicensed, for an unlicensed agent, they do one direct recruit and 1,000 in personal premium before their license hits the system. Whether you're licensed or unlicensed, these are the requirements you get to get promoted to senior rep, which is a 35% contract. You just gave yourself a 10% raise. Who's giving 10% raises out here? Well, you can give yourself a 10% raise in Primerica just by doing something simple that somebody else will help you do, right? But we don't stop there. You can become a district leader, give yourself a 15% raise. What do you have to do? Do 3 team recruits, 2,500 in team premium. So you ain't even got to do it all by yourself. You could, but you don't have to. These are team production requirements. Do 3 team recruits, 2,500 in team premium in a Primerica production month, and help somebody on your team become a senior rep. You do all of that in a Primerica production month, you can promote yourself to district leader. You can promote yourself to district leader. And let me tell you something. District leader is a very crucial position in Primerica. Not the most important position below level RVP, but it's a building block to becoming an RVP. I'm going to show you why. So to become a division leader, you do 5 team recruits, 5,000 in team premium in a Primerica production month, and you have to produce a district leader. See, all of the promotions beyond district leader involves you producing a district leader. So that's why that district leader position is so important. You first got to become a district leader, then you start helping people become district leader. And then division leader, this is the highest contract percentage below the level of RVP that we promote. We don't do no senior regional leader stuff. But regional leader is 70% contract. How do you get there? 7 team recruits, 7,500 in team premium in a Primerica production month, and you produce 2 more district leaders. So now you have a total of 3 district leaders, and you'll have your regional leader promotion. Now, we have people that are on this meeting right now that are at all contract levels, from regional leader, division leader, district leader, senior rep, and representative. If you are at a representative, you have the power to promote yourself to senior rep and so on and so forth. But now let's talk about what's been the main topic of our conversation, which is RVP. Let's talk about that, RVP. What are the RVP promotion guidelines? I'm glad you asked. This is it, guys. Not hiding anything. This is it right here. So RVP, there's some tangible things you need to have, and there's some intangible things that we just want to see as your leaders for you to get promoted to RVP. As an RVP, you're on 110% contract. You heard Auntie say that earlier. You also are able to tap into the bonus pools, and you're eligible to receive Primerica stock as our regional vice president. So how do you become a regional vice president? Well, you got to submit $20,000 in premium as a team over 2 consecutive months. Now, what does that mean? That means that over 2 months, you and your team have to do a cumulative $20,000 in premium. Now, you can split that up however way you want. You can do $10,000 in 1 month, and then the very next month do another $10,000. So that's a total of 20. Or you can do 8 and 12, 5 and 15. Y'all get what I'm saying, right? 20,000 in cumulative premium over 2 consecutive months, right? You have to have a minimum, check this out, teammates, of $20,000 rolling 12-month cash flow in Primerica, meaning that your cash flow over a rolling 12 has to be $20,000 or more. You have to have that. You have to have that. And so what is some of y'all might be, Nick, what's a rolling 12? Like, that means that every month, that same month from last year rolls off and you replace in months as you go. So that means that you have to be consistently making money. You can't make money for the one half of the year, then you take the other half off, and then you no, your good months are rolled off, so you got to be at it, right? But $20,000 in rolling 12-month cash flow, that's at minimum. Now, ideally, you want to be higher than the 20,000, guys, because that means that you're in a groove, that you're going. It's just the minimum is 20,000, but obviously we would love for you to be higher because you're in a higher place. That means that you have a stable situation going RVP. You have to have 6 district leaders in place or the equivalent. 6 district leaders or the equivalent, right? Meaning that, if you got a division leader under you, that counts as 2 districts. Y'all get, so 6 district leaders are the equivalent. We'll get into that later. You have to be securities licensed. You're not going RVP without a securities license. SIE 663. So if you're thinking about becoming a regional vice president, that's your motivation right there to knock out your securities license. Look, you have to be securities licensed to become a regional vice president, non-negotiable. You have to have acceptable persistency in QBI, meaning your quality of business can't be raggedy. Meaning that you got a bunch of policies that you've written that have gone not taken or they done lapsed and all that. No. Well, Nick, I got these things in place, but your QBI, you can't do it. You have to have acceptable persistency and quality of business, meaning that you gotta run a clean business. You gotta run a clean business, right? And then you have to execute the RVP agreement. See, when you become an RVP, it's a business contract that you're agreeing, hey, I'm gonna become an RVP, right? So there's a whole agreement that you have to agree to. You can't sell away, all that type of stuff, man. I mean, you're entering into a business arrangement with the company as an RVP and with your upline RVP. So there, you have to execute the RVP agreement, and then you must provide, this is a big one, guys, you must provide your upline RVP an adequate replacement when you become regional vice president, when you get promoted. And that replacement is going to be your upline RVP's choice. Now, some of y'all are like, what are you talking about, this replacement stuff? Let me explain. When you become RVP, you got 6 legs, you got 6 districts. You have to leave a portion of your team behind to your promoting RVP so they can replace you in your production when you leave. It's almost like leaving seeds behind so your upline RVP can replenish the garden when you leave. So that's called a replacement, right? Now, it's an honor to be a replace. It's an honor to leave a replacement because you leave it once, but you're able to take it for forever. As you promote out RVPs out of your base shop, you're going to take a replacement, right? But it's also an honor to be a person's replacement. So when I got promoted to RVP, no, when the young lady who recruited me into the business got promoted to RVP, I was her replacement. I was her replacement. When I got promoted to RVP, Mark and Felicia Taylor were my replacement. Some of y'all didn't know that. Mark and Felicia Taylor were in my below the level of RVP base shop. I had a hand in training Mark, Taylor, and Felicia and all the time. Raheem and I, we met with them. We're the ones that told them they could become district leaders. I was a regional leader in the business. I'm like, man, y'all can become district. They're like, man, you think we can become district? This is Mark and Felicia Taylor, $200,000+ earners on the council. They were in our below the level of RVP base shop at one time. When I went RVP, they were my replacements. And they went RVP 1 month after I did. I still got the dopest replacements ever in the hierarchy. They went RVP 1 month after I did. And then you got to be full-time. There is no, I'm a part-time regional vice president. I'm part-time in the business and I'm a regional vice president. You ain't doing that. You have to be full-time in Primerica. You cannot have a job and be a regional vice president. So you must be full-time, right? So these are the tangible requirements to become a regional vice president. Now let's talk about some intangibles. The intangibles are, you must show that you can make money on your own pen. You got to be able to personally make income. You just got to have that skill set to where you can make money, because if you're ever in a situation where you have to rebuild, you have to renovate your base shop and start over, and you just say you got to create and build, you just can't be stuck out there. You got to prove that you know how to make money in the business. And a lot of that gets done while you're in the base shop, while you are a district, a division, a region, like you are consistently making money. Because that way we know when you become RVP, you're going to know how to make money. You're just going to make more of it. So you have to show that you can consistently make money through personal production. That's one of the intangibles. Another intangible is you got to be able to attract, retain, and lead people. You got to show some leadership ability, that you're not running everybody off on your team when you know, below the level of RVP. You recruit people, people here, and then next thing you know, you done ran everybody out. No, you got to be able to attract, retain, and lead some people. You got to show some leadership ability. That's what we're looking for, right? It's part of the intangibles. And then last but not least, this goes without saying, guys, you got to show that you are mentally tough. You're mentally tough, that you don't get shaken. You don't get, sidetracked when life be lifing and stuff like that. No, you know how to play hurt. You know how to push through challenges. You're mentally tough. That's part of the intangibles. That's part of the intangibles, all right? And so let me show this. We talked about it. Primerica did make a change. If you complete all these requirements that I talked about, as far as the tangibles, when you get promoted to RVP, it's not 15,000 in stock anymore, it's 20,000 in stock that the company's giving you. They increased it in 2026. They increased it this year. They say, man, we want RVP so bad, we raising the roof, we raising the ceiling on this thing. We're going to give you $20,000 in Primerica stock instead of 15,000. Y'all ain't excited about that. And then check this out, B-Walk, the promoting RVP going to get $20,000 in stock too. It's crazy. And then every quarter, you get an opportunity to earn more stock when you help new people get licensed and write their first 1,000 in premium, and you help them get promoted to district leader. Primarily going to give you more stock every quarter for helping them do that. That's why helping people get licensed and getting them promoted to district leader is so crucial and so important, not just to build your business, but also for equity in the company that the company will give you. And ultimately, when you promote out RVPs, that's just more stock that comes your way. Y'all excited about that? Raise your hand if y'all excited about what I'm telling you. All right, perfect. All right, excellent. I'm coming down the home stretch, guys. So let's reverse engineer this thing. These are 3 steps to reverse engineer yourself to RVP, right? Because it's good to just start with the end in mind. Okay, I want to be an RVP, and that's what I want to do. But sometimes you can be like, man, how do I get there, right? So you begin with the end in mind, and then you start and you work your way to the end. So you envision the end, and then you build and you work your way to it. So these are how you reverse engineer yourself to RVP. Step 1, family, you can't skip any of these steps. Step 1, you have to become a consistent independent producer. That's step 1. And part of becoming a consistent independent producer, you don't miss trainings and big events. You don't miss trainings and big events. That's part of being a consistent independent producer, that you're present, that you're showing up for your own success. You learn and execute the business fundamentals and systems. You're not out there doing your own thing, deviating from the system and the fundamentals. People all know what I'm talking about. You out there running a whole different presentation and saying whatever you want. No, you shooting from it, you finessing everything. No, you learn the system and the business fund and you execute them, right? And you're getting results systematically. What are those results? Guys, you're closing business and you're getting referrals. It's part of being an independent producer. You close, and you're able to get referrals to keep the process going, right? You recruit new directs. You're able to do that. You're able to recruit people to your business, and that builds width in your business. You use your CRM to manage your contacts, right? You take ownership of the quality of business process, meaning that if there's requirements for policies that need to be addressed, you're taking ownership of that. You respect the QBI and the persistency part of the business. You respect it. It ain't like you're oblivious to it. You ain't worried about it. No, you on top of your stuff. You running a clean operation. That's what you're doing. You're running a clean business. Guys, this is part of being because everything builds on each other. You'll see here in a minute. And then you're making money and you're saving money. Guys, if you have not set up your MAP program, we need to do that before the month is out. If you do not have your MAP program set up, we need to get with you before April is over to set up your MAP so you can map the commissions that you're making into your investment account, right? So you're saving your Primerica money. You're making money, but guys, it's good to make it, but it's better to save it. We want you to save this money, right? That's part of being an independent producer. That's step 1. Step 2 is you got to become a field trainer. You're not going to become an RVP before you become a field trainer. It's just not happening. The way to RVP is through becoming a field trainer. We promote RVPs out of the pool of field trainers. So we're not ignoring step 1. Everything that you got to do in step 1, you add these elements to it. Step 2, becoming a field trainer. Get securities licensed. Get securities licensed. Because how are you going to be training other people and there's opportunities out there and you ain't securities licensed? So you can't even do the full job for somebody. Now, here's the deal. That's not a deal breaker, but it helps. If you want to field train a new recruit and be able to be self-contained on it, guys, you need a securities license. You need to be the right example in attitude, activity, and attendance, right? You send complaints up and you send praise down and to the side, right? You don't complain to your downline. Oh man, you don't be, oh man, it's so hard. No, like then you do that stuff to your upline. Like if you got challenges, man, we listen, we're here for you, right? But you send challenges and complaints up and you send praise and adulation and encouragement down. But you got to be the right example in attitude, activity, and attendance. If you're spotty and missing meetings and different things like that, then what do you think your people and your team's going to do? They're going to do the same thing. So that's the right example, attitude, activity, becoming a field trainer. Next thing you know, you got to learn how to teach the business fundamentals, not just learn them and execute them. But now it's time when you're a field trainer, you're teaching the business fundamentals and systems to your teammate. You're starting to get into the duplication business to where you're duplicating yourself and other people, right? You set a clear team goals, you set clear team goals, and you rally your team to achieve them. You're not waiting on me or B-Walk or somebody else in the hierarchy that's an RVP or above. No, you're the voice. You're doing that. And you're running play. Like we call a play, you getting with your team and then you huddle them up. You say, hey, man, this is the play that coach called. We're going to do this. Man, coach said this is the goal, man. We're going to do this in the goal. You set your team goal. You rally your team around achieving the goal. Guys, that's part of being a field trainer. And you're focused on building district leader legs. As a field trainer, that's what you want to do. You want to build district leader legs. That's building depth in your business. Because remember, to become an RVP, how many district leaders do you have to have in place? Anybody remember? How many district leaders you have to have in place to go RVP? Some of y'all might be thinking, oh, Nick, you need 3. No, you need 6. 6 district leaders in place. So you're focused on building district legs. And then a good thing to have, guys, you want to build a team of 20 plus life licensed agents. You want to build a team, you want to get licenses on your team, and then you want to build personal relationships with those teammates. Guys, I'm almost done. We 8 o'clock on the nose. Hang with me for another minute. Step 3, you want to become an RVP without the contract. Before you go RVP, you already want to be walking like, talking like a RVP. Where people mistake you, like, no, she ain't like she. You feeling like you got it all over you. Where people see you and they already know you're gonna be the next RVP, right? And so you become the RVP before you take the contract. What does that mean? You do what RVPs do, right? RVPs are present. They're leaders. They show up early. They stay late. They make the sacrifice. You do what RVP, this is before you get the contract. You do what RVPs do. You go where RVPs go. Where is your RVP going? Wherever you see your RVP going, you say, I need to be there too. If you're allowed to go. Coach, you going to this conference, you going to this regional meeting, this, that, and the other. I'm going to. You go where RVPs go. And then last but not least, you think how RVPs think. Now, you can't get there on your own. You got to spend time around RVPs, have conversations with them, engage them to see how RVPs think. That's how you learn to think like an RVP. Because I'm telling you, teammates, you don't just get the RVP contract and just magically you're an RVP. No, you're already the RVP. Everything about you screams RVP before you get the contract. If you've done step 1 and you've done step 2, and then you tie it all together with step 3, I promise you, RVP is inevitable. It's inevitable, man. And it's worth it. It's worth it. And through it all, last thing I want to share, always keep the lines of communication open with your upline RVP. Always keep the lines of communication open. Questions, challenges, whatever. Coaching, keep the lines of communication open. Don't think that you got to do it all by yourself. Guys, you don't. You do not have to do this. We don't want you to do it all by yourself. Now, there's certain things you got to grow through and you got to learn and things like that, but we know how to coach you through it. But keep the lines of communication always open with your RVP. All right? Y'all got me? Heem, I want to tap you in to kind of add to some of the things that I've shared tonight on RVP and things like that, because I think you have really great takes on just this subject alone. But if you don't mind, babe, talk to them a little bit about, just some extra stuff to keep in mind.
I think that you really laid out a really great overview, but I think it's about being intentional and decide. And once you make that decision that you're like, yes, I want to move in the direction of RVP. You start acting like that. You get closer to your coach, right? You increase your level of learning. You're looking to take on more responsibility. Like I look at the Primerica circle of life is, right? You join the business, you get trained in the business, you that means you're learning the business, then you get into leadership position where you teach somebody, you're teaching new people, you're training new people, you're helping them get promoted, but then you get to that next level of where you're teaching somebody how to teach the business, right? And so I see that RVP as that top level of leadership where, because you don't realize what you how much you know or how much it takes and what you need to know until you're teaching somebody to teach, right? Because your level of understanding is at a mastery type level, right? And so, but you have to be intentional about trying to get there, you know. And so it's really a decision, right? It's making that decision that, hey, this is something that I really want to do. This is something that I really want. And then moving in that direction. And then when I look at and just we were having a kind of a conversation of like, well, what are this like what's the simplest things that or what are the basic things that RVP needs to do. RVP needs to know how, run a system, right? Nick always talks about having your own management philosophy, but you have to run a system because you if you're finagling and doing all this stuff, you can't teach somebody else that, right? You have to run a system that is duplicatable. You got to be able to promote people or help people get promoted, and then you have to allow people to be independent, right? So you got to know how to make money and you got to be able to teach somebody how to go out there and make money, right? And do it with and in our business we're investments and we're life insurance. We're life insurance and investments, but we're also making sure that we're doing quality in our business, right? And it's not finagling, it's not trying to win a contest by any means necessary, right? It's none of those things. It is literally just running a clean business, doing the right thing by people. You have to have a heart for people. When I say a heart for people, you have a heart for the clients that we're helping, but you also have a heart for the teammates that you're teaching. And so really that's really all I have to add. I think it's being an intentional, having a heart for people, and then making money the right way, helping people and making money the right way.
So guys, well, that concludes tonight's training. I'll upload it so we can continue to build on it. But next week, guys, I'm going to talk about RVP and above compensation and what that looks like. Let's say that you become an RVP, you build a hierarchy. What does that look like? Right? What can you get paid? You don't want to miss this. We gonna take a deep dive into that, and I think that uh, it can blow you away. So we're gonna talk about what's possible for going RVP, promoting RVPs, and all that, like what that compensation looks like, and all of that. All right. And so with that being said, we'll stop here.